Hi, I'm Bernie, your Uber elder here in Sonoma County after a major flooding event, and I'm inspired here to talk about where the economic activities of us humans meets the ecological activities of nature. You see behind me the Laguna de Santa Rosa, which is a major subset of the Russian River watershed. It accounts for about 10% of the flow into the Russian River. Russian River is indeed spilling its banks and flooding out roads and isolating some towns like Guerneville. And there's a lot of consternation about the damage being done by this flooding. And I know that a favorite way of describing it is what economic cost there is when Mother Nature does her thing. Well, Mother Nature and the water flows have been around for a long time. And the winery industry has seen a lot of economic growth and benefit here, such that the wineries come right up to the edge of where the water flows are. And I actually don't think this flooding is damaging these vines. And so the economic damage here is minimal. But in terms of economic loss to businesses, to homes, that'll all be calculated in economic terms. And I just feel like there ought to be a reciprocal way of seeing how economic activities or human business activities are having an effect on the ecological health, on the environmental health of nature. We don't quantify that, but if we did, it might be in terms of biodiversity loss units, population losses of endangered species. We don't have a system of accounting for the real damage to the environment that economic activity has. But we do have the other part of it where nature doing her thing, such as handling the water flow of a lot of rainfall, that is put in terms of how that's damaging the economic well-being of our population, of our community, of our county, and it's such a one-sided view. I, for one, am very pleased when I see the laguna here, the watershed that is the main watershed that includes Santa Rosa, Rohnert Park, Cotati, Sebastopol, Windsor. Those cities are part of the Laguna de Santa Rosa watershed that we see spilling its banks here into a vineyard. And all of this is part of the Russian River watershed, which is a significant watershed. And within that entire watershed, these annual swellings of the water flow are really vital to bringing some of the nutrients and minerals that are carried down by the water into the fields. At least they were before the fields became a monoculture of grapes. Trying to restore some health to the natural world here really demands that we stop with the monoculture, that we not continue to lose the native species, of which the oaks are the dominant species here that provide habitat for so many different species of birds and reptiles and insects and mammals. And so we have a one-sided view of what matters, and that's economics. And that's extremely short-sighted. And I'm doing this series of videos to try to raise awareness about how that short-sightedness is leading us ultimately to extinction. And I, for one, am not going to go silently into that future. I'm here on a roadway that the cars traveling through are a part of that economic activity. And I'm not unhappy when the roads flood and that level of activity stops. It stops me from driving some of the roads I might otherwise take, but I think we need to reflect on when that happens. It's time to appreciate how much the water cycle is a part of the nature that we so depend on. And this is a healthy thing. This is not something we should buy insurance for and lament in terms of its cost. This is something we should celebrate. So let's stop seeing flooding as something that is a hazard, a horrible thing, but let's see it as a expression of nature that is just part of what makes the biodiversity that we all so ultimately depend on and can enjoy and should enjoy.